Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Rewind that. It's your girl, Miss K. If this is your first time coming across my channel, welcome. Please be sure to subscribe if you like the vibe and hit that notification bell so you know when I upload more videos like this one. Today, we are going to be talking about Hulu. I believe it's an Hulu original called Unprisoned. Okay, that is the show. Oh my gosh, I'm sorry, guys. That is the show that we are talking about today. I wouldn't say that it's unpopular, but I don't hear anybody ever talking about it. But I really enjoy it. Um, Last season when I watched it, I couldn't get enough. I was like, oh my gosh, are they really gonna leave me like this? Where I just have to wait for the Lord knows how long until I'm able to watch something again. But it's back for another season, and I believe that when it drops, I think it drops all 8 episodes at the same time. I'm not sure because every time I get to it, it's always got all 8 episodes. So whatever. But let me make sure that I'm being heard. Okay. So I'm just okay. Great. Okay. Great. Okay, guys. So I am being heard. This is wonderful. Good. Okay. So that's going to be talking about today. I don't necessarily expect a lot of people to be up in the building because, like I said, not sure how popular this show is, but I just want to talk about it. I like it that much that I want to talk about it. So I'm going to be doing a series review, right? The season review. Okay, so Unprisoned season 2. We about to get started. I see that Rashonda Greer was up in here, and so was Michelle Wadler. Thank you, ladies, for stopping through. If you're still here, thank you for being here. Okay. And I did miss you guys. I felt like, when I was saying, please subscribe if you like the vibe, I almost felt like I said vibe or something. Like I kind of was, tripping over my tongue or whatever. But anyway, so I have my little talking points, but I also have what I'm going to be using here is I'm going to be going by like the synopsis of the episodes or the descriptions of the episodes so that it can kind of jog my memory in case I forget anything at all. So I'm going to go through my notes first, which there's not a lot there. And then I'm going to go through each description of every episode and see if anything jogs my memory that I would like to talk about from that episode. Okay. That is how I'm going to do it today, y'all. Okay, so let's just talk about Unprisoned. Unprisoned is about a therapist by the name of Paige, played by Kerry Washington. Okay, we know her as the magnificent Olivia Pope. But she is now a therapist on this show. She's a single mom who has hella issues, guys. She is a freaking therapist with childhood trauma stemming from daddy and mommy issues, which seeps into her parenting, which seeps into her romantic relationships, all of that stuff. Like she's just one big hot mess, which is so ironic that she is a therapist, right? But look, just because you're a therapist does not mean that you don't have problems. Maybe being a therapist would kind of help you understand people a little better. I don't know. But one thing about Paige, man, she's got her own little philosophies, and I don't think I can get with some of them, but we'll get to her in a minute. I want to start talking about Edwin, her father. I want to start off with him. Her father, who's he just been released from prison, and he's been gone for years, guys, and he's trying to get his life together. So we're now on season 2. So he's home. He got arrested again because I forgot exactly what happened, but it was some type of situation where Finn was driving, I believe, right? And I think when they got pulled over, they might have switched seats or something because Finn was too young to drive or something like that. So it had to do with him trying to protect his grandson from getting in trouble or whatever. But, being on probation or parole, actually, it's not the best thing to get arrested, obviously, right? So there you have that. Okay, so let me tell you what my issues are with this man here. I'm trying to see if I could just pull up a little picture of him. So, my issues with Edwin are that he thinks that running away until he gets his life together is the best thing for everyone. He feels like I need to just get my stuff together. I'm going to withdraw this and that. And, when I'm good, I'm going to come back around. Like typical deadbeat dad type of energy that he gives with that type of stuff. And it really worked my nerves in the beginning of this season. Okay. I hated it, especially because he was ignoring Finn, right? Finn has really gravitated to him, really fell in love with him and bonded with him, and really wants his grandfather to be back in the house because, he moved in with them when he came home from prison. And then he moved out, right? And so Finn is really going through it now that he's gone, and he's calling him, and he is not answering the phone. All right. So now Finn decides to go see him and winds up crashing his car. Now, the car that Finn crashes is Edwin's freaking car. Okay. So that's another issue. But, this gets Edwin's attention. He finally gets to him and he's like, everything's okay. I don't care about the car because, Finn is apologizing about the car. I don't care about the car. I just want to make sure that you're okay, this and that. So this is what helps them to finally break past that wall of him ignoring Finn every chance he gets. Okay. So now, my thing is with the whole car accident that this thing wouldn't have happened, right? The accident wouldn't have happened if you would have just answered the phone. Okay. Thinking that running away from your family until you get your stuff together is what's going to help. That is totally like, I don't understand that type of mindset. So forgive me. And if you're out there and you're that type of person, I'm sorry if it offends you, but it makes no sense to me. I don't necessarily care for Nadine, his little girlfriend. That's Edwin's little girlfriend. I don't necessarily care for her that much, but I like how she told him, like, you don't need to get your stuff together to be a part of a family. Like, what are you talking about? So that's that job. Now, I will say this though. No, you know what? I'm not gonna get into it yet. I'm gonna wait. Okay. So now, guys, when they get to therapy, let me just make sure that I have all that. So I'm basically letting you guys know my little issues with Edwin. Okay, I don't dislike Edwin. I just want you guys to know that I absolutely love Edwin. Okay, just need to say that, just need to get that out the way. But my love for characters, if you've been following me for years by now, my love for characters does not negate any type of negative feelings that I might have towards them when they start doing things that I don't agree with. So I do not have blind loyalty, boo. I will let you know how it is. Okay, so we have the therapy session. So his daughter, she comes to him and she's like, Dad, I think you should come back home, this and that. Hi, Faith and family. I think you should come back home and everything. And he's like, no, he don't want to come back. But then when she brings up that, listen, Finn is really going through it. That's when he's like, okay, I'll come home as long as we go to therapy. Now, the reason why she said we can go to therapy. That's what she said. She's like, I'll do anything. We can go to therapy. And he said, okay, you know what? I'm fine. Because he didn't want to go at first. But he's like, okay, as long as I could pick the therapist. So he winds up picking Dr. Murphy, who was played by John Stamos. Okay, Uncle Jesse from Full House. Now, he picks him because he sees him on a show, right? Let me just show you this picture right here real quick. He saw him on a show with his daughter because her TED Talk situation went viral. Okay, I don't know what the heck she said on there, but it went viral and stuff like that. Got her all these clients and everything. But when she's sitting side by side another therapist and she was telling how she feels about, basically kind of like detaching yourself from people, that's how you get your life together and all that stuff. He's like, what? Like, what kind of nonsense is that? Why would you detach yourself? Like, what kind of therapy is that? So I was really loving the fact that he was telling her just straight up, like, your little ideologies and whatever you got going on, it's a bunch of nonsense, because basically it's very selfish. You're basically saying that um you're gonna detach yourself from somebody else until they get their stuff together while you don't change. And that's not how relationships work. Everybody has to do the work, everybody has to work on some changes, right? So while she was on TV, he kind of like embarrassed her. He pretty much came at her and everything. And I don't think he was doing it in a way, but to be malicious about it. I just kind of feel like, as we see him in this season, that's his personality. So he was just basically saying, like, I don't agree with you. You know what I mean? He's got his own ways and she's got hers, and I like his a lot better. So anyway, the father saw this episode, okay? And because he saw how raw, this is Dr. Murphy to the right, how raw Dr. Murphy was giving it to Paige, he went and said to Paige, listen, that's who I want to go to therapy with. Okay. Like, if you want me to go to therapy, I want him to be the therapist. I'm going to pick the therapist. So that's where we are now, guys. Fast forward to that whole thing. We've got the family is now in therapy. So that's what this season 2 is all about. I'm sorry, guys. Somebody decided at 7:16 p.m. to start lawn mowing. Okay. Did I say lawn mowing? I'm sorry. Mowing the lawn. All right. Mowing the lawn and revving up bikes and stuff like that. So if you hear that, I do apologize, but maybe you don't hear it. Okay. Let's move on. So now in therapy, right? Because he saw on national television how he was getting at his daughter, because Edwin saw how Dr. Murphy was getting at his daughter, he's thinking that he's going to have a field day in therapy. All right. But, and I love how he thinks that Dr. Murphy is just going to jump all over Paige, right? But Dr. Murphy flipped it and he told Edwin straight up that he's gonna, he's going about everything all wrong. As a man, you don't just leave to get your stuff together. He's like, and here, I like it when he told him, you don't try, you do it. This is do it season. You don't try in here. You know what I'm saying? I'm saying it again. You just do it. Okay. So I love that. And I also like that Edwin wasn't like, yo, man, wait, you supposed to be on her. You know what I mean? Everybody, when it was their turn to get beat up on, they pretty much took it. And I was appreciative of that. Okay. But I do want to say, guys, like I said before, I really like Edwin. Now, with my many issues that I have with him, or not my many issues, my few issues that I have with him, I think that he's a great guy. Okay, guys. Wow. That was crazy. I don't know what happens. I hope you guys can still hear me. Um the lights just turned off, everything disconnected, turned off, came back on. Everything in the house, literally everything. Okay. So, I don't know exactly where I was talking. I'm kind of annoyed by that, so it makes me like kind of just want to cut this daggone thing off and just go about my day. Ain't nobody really on here like that in your freaking way. Um, but it's all good, guys. Thanks, whoever is here. Thank you.
Okay, guys. Wow.
Sorry. Um, if somebody's on and you're listening, tell me what I was saying last, please, because I don't even know. Like I was so, so like I don't know what happened. Oh my gosh! Talk about having to take something down and repost it later because I'm gonna have to edit that out. Um, what was I saying? All right, I'm just gonna go with. I think I was saying that Edwin is a pretty good guy. Um, with my few issues that I have with him, I think he's a pretty good guy. A great guy, actually. I really want to say that great guy. Um, and I think that he's trying to do better. I know that Dr. Murphy said this is not your trying season. There ain't no trying. You do. In this office, you do. And I love that. And so that's what Edwin has been doing. He's been doing the daggone thing, okay? Like to the point where he got himself a job at the halfway house with Mal. Mal was his parole officer, so he also is now working for him. Um, he tapped into his gift of cooking, so now he's got his goals with that. We see later on that he wants to open up like this food truck and stuff like that. Um, and he is consistently making strides to do better all the time, right? And he said that he wants to even do better for Finn, like basically show up for him in ways that he failed to show up for his daughter back in the day. So I love, love, love that about my man Edwin. Okay. I want to talk about my issues with Paige. Okay. Before I forget, talking about Edwin and his dream of cooking and stuff like that, I don't like how Paige was kind of like, it seems like she needed to be reminded about certain things. Like, you need to like support your dad. Like, you're not being very supportive of him when it came to his cooking stuff. She wasn't supportive. She's like, you're going to make sure that you keep your day job, right, Dad? It's like she's parenting him and stuff. I totally understand everything about Paige. I understand where she, where she's coming from, why she's like this, guys. I totally get it. But it doesn't stop it from working my nerves. I'm sorry. It doesn't stop it from working my nerves. Okay? Whatever. So now, hold on. Oh, thank you.
Sorry, it took so long.
It's okay. Um, Let me see where I'm at, guys. So now we're going to talk about the issues that we have with Miss Paige. Okay. Um, when it comes to Paige, you guys, I feel like she is very overbearing as a parent. She's overbearing with Finn. But once again, I think it's because she's trying to protect him. You know what I mean? She doesn't stop Finn from hanging out with his grandfather, that's for sure. But she doesn't want Edwin to do the same thing to Finn that he did to her when she was growing up. Okay. I also don't like that because she's a therapist. She thinks that she has the right answers, for like how she should handle her life and everybody else's life and stuff like that. Um, that's probably a normal therapist type of thing, though. You know what I'm saying? You think you got the answers because you're like educated in this field. But I feel like she needed Dr. Murphy to come with those hard truths. I think that she needed it. I think that this whole family freaking needed it. Okay. Hey, boo. My girl is in the building. How you doing? Yeah, girl, this is the one I was telling you about. You definitely need to check it out. Okay, so I want to say this real quick, guys, because I'm still talking about the things that I don't like about Paige, or my issues. Not, I don't even want to say don't like, my issues with her. Um, this right here, this is her younger self. I love the idea of her younger self talking to her, especially when she's going through those little moments and stuff like that. Like, she's always showing up, kind of like being her conscience. And so it's just like, and she be, little girl be on point a lot of the times, okay? However, I cannot stand the fact that the writers have this little girl cursing like a freaking sailor, okay? Dropping F bombs, this bomb, that, I don't like that crap at all. That's my only gripe with the whole thing, but I love the concept. Every freaking time little Paige shows up, she always has the exact same outfit that grown Paige is wearing, which is so cute. I'm like, y'all really be in them tailor shops when it comes to this episode, which is why they probably limit how many times you see little Paige on the screen. Okay. All right, y'all. So now, I'm going to say also, I don't like how she treats her father sometimes. Um, Even her son tells her that she's never giving grandpa a break. Like, you don't give grandpa a break, blah, blah, blah. But thankfully, guys, in this season, due to family therapy, things have been improving for the whole family. Things are definitely getting better, okay? She starts doing better with like I was saying, if she dropped the ball on supporting him in any way, she would like one time there was no lemon pepper or something in the house, so she made like this little basket with the seasonings and stuff like that, and I noticed that there was lemon pepper in there, and then she made him a little note saying you got this and stuff. So I definitely love that. Like, she is also someone that's always, I don't want to say trying, because she is doing. Okay, this is not your trying season. That's what Dr. Murphy said. It's the do season. We're doing, we're not trying. Okay. So that's one thing that I definitely love. Also, she realized that her father was lying to her, keeping something from her, and she was about to like really pry and go at it with him and trying to like, kind of like get on him like she normally does. But she let it go, and then she came back. Like, she took a breath and she came back and she said, I'm sorry for how I was coming at you, but Dad, I need you to tell me the truth. Like, I don't want you to keep anything from me. Is there something that you are keeping from me? And he was keeping something from her. Okay, so that was a situation that had to do with um, one of his associates getting arrested, and he was afraid that the associate might, bring his name up and snitch or something, and he was going to have to be, back in jail, and he didn't want to leave. So he finally told her about it. She started freaking out a little bit. Like, this girl really got PTSD. So she started freaking out like, oh my gosh, oh wow, and the reason why she's freaking out like that is because, like, even later in one of the episodes, when Nadine finally joins therapy, we find out that it was really hurtful when he would leave. She talked about how excited she would. Matter of fact, let me bring that in, because we're going to talk about the Nadine issue. In case you guys don't know, this is Nadine. This is the woman that the father, like, this not his girlfriend, but they're in a situationship. Okay, and when he was arrested again, this is one of the women that he left her with, and she raised her. Okay, she played a hand in raising her, and there's a lot of trauma involved with that as well. Left her at some type of truck stop before, and did some other stuff to her that she don't like Nadine, guys. She really doesn't like Nadine. One time, the father was cooking, making something real good. Paige comes down the stairs. She's very excited and everything. And then she's like, oh, Dad, what smells so good? But then she see Nadine, and her whole attitude changed. Like, what the heck is going on? And so she's like, didn't I say that, I didn't want any overnight visits or whatever. And he's like, she just got here. And she's like, okay, well, it just kind of ruined her whole mood. So then we were able to see that Nadine's presence, and especially seeing Nadine and her father together, is very triggering for Paige. So one of the things that we found out, and I loved this episode, how they were doing like wrestling matches. So whatever was going on in the therapy session, they played it on the screen as like a wrestling match. Okay. So we've got the Nadine issue is that when he came home the first time, okay, we find out that he was busted on Christmas Day, him and her mother. Her mother was set free but didn't go back for Paige. When the father, so there goes abandonment issue number one. So the father, when he gets out, she was so happy when he got out, but and that he got her out of foster care. But when he came to get her, he brings her to this woman named Nadine, and he can't stop talking about her. Oh, Nadine, 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 Nadine. Everything was about Nadine. And then he left her with Nadine. So she is very triggered when she sees them together. I was finally happy because I was upset with him about this as well. Like, how much she doesn't like Nadine, but yet you keep bringing her around and stuff like that. And plus, this is her house. You shouldn't bring her in here. But he's like, just continuously doing it. So this time in therapy, when he finds out that it really bothers her, he told Nadine that we're going to have to take a step back. And I was so, so glad about that. Like, yes, thank you. Because this is like, come on, what are we doing? So I was very happy about that. He's finally putting his daughter first. And like he said, I have to be a father. You know what I mean? Like every area that he screwed up in back in the day, now I got to do it all over again. And he, one of the um the the most powerful thing I'll say that he said was that Paige is still in a lot of ways like a little girl. Because Nadine was trying to fight it, like, come on, don't let this do this, that, and the third. And he was like, no, listen, I got to be a parent first. And that she is like a little girl in a lot of ways. And we got to take a step back. Okay. So my issue with Nadine, guys, is like, yes, she feels like, hey, I gave you a roof. I put a roof over your head. I put you through college. I did this and that. Like she thinks that just because she like provided and stuff like that and kind of like looked after her, because she didn't really take care of her. She looked after her while he was away. She wasn't nurturing or anything like that. She thinks that because she did that she was really doing something, right? And she feels like Paige should be grateful for that. But all Nadine did was add to Paige's trauma. You know what I'm saying? The father did not put her in good hands. So, I mean, yeah, like I said, she put her through college, fine. But now she's still being triggered in her adult years. I think she's well into her 40s probably. And she's being very triggered by this woman every time she sees her. She cannot stand Nadine. And I also don't like how Nadine downplays Paige's feelings. She tries to talk about Paige like, oh, you're a drama queen, this and that and the third. And yeah, she may be a drama queen, but she's really seriously dealing with a lot of stuff. Like really, really, really dealing with a lot of stuff. So that's that. Let me see if I could go into the episode synopsis that I was talking about and just pretty much go through the episodes line by line. I'm going to share the screen with you guys. So we got through the first episode pretty much, which was called Don't Try Harder, Try Different. Let's see with that. Okay. So how to be a cat. Let me just make sure that I didn't forget anything up in here with that. Following a revelatory family therapy session, Paige takes Edwin's advice and experiments in dating like a cat. Okay, yeah, so this was kind of cool because she found out that, she can kind of like control the situation with her acting like, acting like a cat instead of a dog. Like the father explains that a dog will go around just licking on everybody, licking everybody's behind, he said. But the cat is, different, has more swag and, all that other stuff that he was saying about what a cat does. So she was, doing her little dating thing and it was helping her. And plus, it also made them bond, which was great for that. So we can move past that because, like, that was fine. We went through that. So now we're going to get to episode 3, How to Be Friends. Paige tries being friends with Mal, but keeps running into the same obstacle, his new girlfriend. Meanwhile, with college looming, Finn volunteers at the halfway house where Edwin teaches him how to fight more than his feelings. Okay, wait, let me back up. In episode number 2, Finn tries to make a new friend. I just want to say real quick that I hated the fact that Paige told Finn, because Finn doesn't have any friends. He stays in his room all day, doesn't do anything but play games, or he hangs out with his grandfather. And he's very anxiety prone. Okay, poor kid. Listen, she tells him to meet up with one of his gaming buddies, not real friends, people that you're streaming, you're playing online with, to meet up with one of them. I was so against that. I'm like, girl, you crazy? You don't know none of these. You don't know none of these people. He don't know none of these people. Why would you tell him to meet up with one of them? Of course, he brought him to the house, but it was just like, why? Nothing happened, thank God. But I just did not think that that was a good idea. Like, you don't meet strangers off the internet and tell them to come to your house. Like, what? Girl, Paige, you need help with some of the things. Okay, so now let's get back to this. Okay, her and Mal are friends. They decide that they're going to be friends. We saw what she did to Mal last time, y'all. What did she do to him? She cheated on him with her ex, who was married, I believe. Mal is a very good man, might I add, very handsome as well. Okay, so I'm going to just pull up this little picture right here where it's showing that they decide to be friends and go out to dinner, but Mal brings his girlfriend because he's basically letting it be known, look, ain't no way I'm about to have you making me look like I'm cheating. I love his integrity, to be honest. Okay, now they start bonding. Look who his girlfriend is, y'all. His girlfriend, her name is Ava in this series, but this is none other than Mercedes, okay, from P Valley. And the girl had the same profession on this freaking show. I'm like, why the heck do y'all got her still with the pole? Like, really now? Come on now. I don't know if that was some type of little nod to P Valley or whatever, but we didn't need to see her on a pole again. The only good thing is that she was a pole instructor. She wasn't a stripper or nothing. She was a pole dancing instructor, and she was in law school. So she's an educated sister and stuff like that. She got some goals, things like that. You know, Mercedes is a boss chick too. She got goals, but I'm just saying, we don't need to see her doing the pole thing again. But, you know, this actress, she really does that though. Like, she's really good at, dancing and doing all that kind of stuff. So I guess maybe whatever. Anyway, so it's a very awkward dinner with them together, but they're kind of bonding a little bit, Ava and Paige, over the fact that they both have daddies in prison. Okay, so now I'm just going to go ahead and skip to, nope, we're not going to skip. We're going through the little, we're going through this because I'm trying to get out of here now. All right. Now we have the Into Me You See episode. It says, when a former flame slides into Paige's DMs, she finds herself wondering if she can relive what they once had. Meanwhile, Edwin investigates if a past crime might be coming back to haunt him. We talked about that already. Okay. When Finn volunteers at the halfway house, that was something because the grandfather, Edwin, had him like learning how to box. And I knew, if you guys watch this episode, I wish there were so many people in here with me that watched the episode so you can say, yeah, I knew he was going to get punched in the face. And of course, because Paige is so on edge when it comes to him, she freaked out. And This is what her son always says. It's fine, mom. I'm fine. It's all right. It's all right. You know what I mean? She's like, no, you're not fine. Da 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 da. But she found out later on that it was probably one of the most like he learned so much in that one moment. Like, my grandfather taught me this and he taught me that. Like, it was a great lesson that he learned, and he was able to write it in his like college application letter. So it's pretty cool at the end of the day. And he wasn't mad at his grandfather. That was my main concern. I didn't give two craps about what Nadine was. I'm sorry, not Nadine. I didn't give two craps about how Paige was going to feel, because she's always on edge when it comes to him. I just didn't want him to be mad at his grandfather. You know, he knew that it was a mistake. He was a little scared and everything, but he was facing his fears and he felt really good about it, because he ran the first day, then he came back the second day and wound up getting punched in the face, but it worked out anyway. And so he's really learning a lot and coming into his own as his relationship with his grandfather progresses, which I absolutely love. So now we get to episode number 5, called Trigger Happy. That description says Edwin savors a big career winning catering Estes open house. Paige's triggers are exposed when Nadine joins their family therapy session and everyone takes it to the mat in a family smackdown. Winner heals all. I talked about that already. I love the fact that Nadine joined therapy, because I felt like it had to happen. Because if she's a freaking trigger, she need to be up in that. She need to be on the couch. Okay. So now we're going to talk about the legend, episode 6, the legend of the rollerblades. When Paige, Finn, Edwin, and Esty visit Los Angeles, everyone must confront their past and present. Paige and Finn finally reunite with Finn's father, while Esty and Edwin attend a Korean transracial adoption meeting. So in this episode, guys, episode 6, when they meet the parents, when the young man is able to meet his father. Is his father named Johnny, I believe. This is Finn. They pull up to this man's house, who doesn't contact him. He has no relationship with him. He probably never, I think he didn't see him since the last time he saw him was probably in 3rd grade. He don't call him. He don't text. He don't write. He don't do nothing. Okay. Don't send him no gifts. Nothing. Okay. So I wish that, because I'm almost out of breath here. I wish that they would have had like more of a reaction to Finn and them pulling up to this man big old house. Like, this house, you know, you got some money to be in this kind of house, okay? But Finn don't care about that. He is just so excited and eager to meet his father, because that's the missing piece in his life right now, right? It's always like that. The kids are always so much more intrigued with the parent that ain't doing the daggone thing for them, the one that's missing in the house. They get all the passes, right? So he goes in the house. He's excited to see his father. And then when they get inside, you know, they start talking. Everything that this was so annoying too, though. Everything that Johnny was asking, this is Johnny to the right. Everything that Johnny was asking his son, all the questions he was asking him, Paige kept on being overbearing. She kept on answering for him. The boy is 17, about to go to college. He can answer for himself. You don't have to answer for him. You don't even have to be there in the same room. You could have waited outside. However, I do understand why she's there. Once again, I told y'all, I can understand. I don't know how it feels to be in her shoes, but I get why she's being like this. Okay, that's what I'll say. I get why she's being like this. She's trying to protect her son from going through the stuff that she's gone through. But regardless, throughout the therapy situation, she also finds out, and even with their sidebar conversations at home, away from therapy, she even finds out that a lot of her trauma and the way that she has been as a parent has also seeped into the way her son is being raised and how he's coming up and all the issues that he has. Because her son literally said to her, he said, so you mean to tell me that everything that's wrong with you is because of grandpa? And she said, yes. And he said, okay, so that means that everything that's wrong with me is because of you. And she was like, oh my gosh. So I do love that Paige was able to take accountability with that. Like, she didn't run away from that and say, oh no, sweetie, It's different, da da da. No, it was like an epiphany. She was like, oh snap, you know. What's up, Moochie? Everybody that's passing through, please hit the like button. So she was able to see that. Now back to this scene right here. Okay. So he is in this big old house, okay? And he does explain that it's because of his wife, because she's like a potato chip heiress, like, you know, like Frito Lay or somebody, you know what I'm saying? One of them potato chip companies. She's an heir to that. And so that's why you know we all up in here with all of this lovely stuff. Okay. So that took care of that. However, bro, you still don't do a daggone thing for your son. You don't know, you know, you don't see him, nothing like that. But anyway, so they're bonding. She finally steps aside. He was like, bro, you want to play some video games or something like that? Because he didn't really know how to talk to him either. So they're playing video games, having fun and everything. She goes to use the bathroom. He is literally saying, hey, you want to go on tour with me and all this stuff and blah, blah, blah. And Finn is like, yeah, sure. That'd be great. This and that. And it's like, yo, what the heck you mean you want to go on tour? Yes, he's 17. However, like, we don't know you, you know. We don't know what kind of parent you'll be. We don't know how you're gonna, like, how you're gonna be with him while you guys are out on the road, if you're even gonna like really keep a good eye on him. And like I said, I understand he's 17, but like, would you make sure that he's good? You make sure that he's not out, you know, just, I was gonna say left at one location, you know what, because he's not a little kid though, so you know what I'm saying. But like, he could literally still get left. Grown people get left too, you know. If somebody forgets about you, you could get left. Let's say we're on the road, right, and we're stopping at one of the little pit stops and we're buying something, this and that. If somebody forgets about you and everybody's packed up in the van, you can get left. So my point that I'm trying to make is that we don't even know if you're responsible enough to have this guy in the row with you. If you literally don't show that you think about him at all by at least giving him a text or calling him every now and then or something, once a week even, you know, you're a busy guy, you're always on tour, you can't text him, you can't say I love you, you can't send him stuff. Like, he just pays child support, I guess, like, but there's nothing else. So I was with Paige and she's just like, like, we're not having no tea over here, just trying to make plans tomorrow. Oh yeah, so let's do it then. You're gonna come back to San Francisco or wherever they at, Los Angeles. You're gonna come back and we're just gonna go on tour together. So now she intercedes because she was trying to let it go. She intercedes and she's like, you know, we're not doing this and that. And he's like, oh, just like, because she's like, he has school. And he was like, why can't he, just like Paige, why can't he miss school and all this stuff? You see what I mean? This is the reason why she don't want you around him. For you to say why he can't miss school is just stupid and irresponsible. So he said, yeah, that's just like Paige. You haven't changed, blah, blah, blah. So funny thing here is that he's saying this right in front of his son, right? He don't have no qualms about saying, oh, same old Paige, blah, 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 right? Basically, it's negative, right? It's a negative tone, negative undertone, whatever you want to call it. And so she says, you know what? No, I never, ever once said anything bad about you to your son. But you know what? Screw it. Here we go. She didn't say screw it either. She said F it. She said, here we go. So she started going in on him. Bop, bop, bop. You're this, you're that, you're selfish, you're irresponsible, blah, 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 blah. And she felt really, really bad. So they had to leave. She felt really, really bad that she kind of like tore into him in front of the son. Okay. Because she was like, he's very anxious and all of that. And all of this is because of you, you know, because you haven't been there. You ain't been nowhere around and all of this. Because he's like, no, mom, I'm fine. You know, as he's trying to say, he's trying to just like, guys, stop. I'm fine, mom. No, you're not fine. Okay. So stop saying that all the time. You're not fine. This is what's going on. And this is the reason why you're like that. Your father's part of the reason why you're like that. Okay. So funny thing is, if we go back, we rewind back to when Finn said to her, so does that mean that all my issues come from you or are because of you? She had an opportunity right there to say, it could be from me, but it's also from your father. She didn't even mention him. Okay, she didn't even mention him. So it goes to show that she's telling the truth. And she said, I never talked bad about you to him, but here we go. So later on, she apologizes to Finn about it. And he was like, Mom, I thought it was so cool. So that was funny. I didn't really understand why he thought it was cool, but I'm like, I'm glad he's not upset. Like, my main thing is Finn is so anxious, high strung. I just don't want him to get upset about anything because I'm kind of concerned for him. But I feel like in this season, he's smiled a lot more. So I'm very happy about that. And um, I think it's due to the fact that his grandfather lives back in the house now. So even if he does have moments where he's not feeling the greatest, he's happy that his grandfather is there. So we're gonna move past. Oh, so when they get outside, we got daddy coming back, oh Edwin, and he's like, let me just talk to you real quick, bro. He said, obviously you could see it says don't f up, don't f up Finn, because he's saying like, I know what it is to be a dad who screwed things up, because Johnny was trying to tell him like, are you seriously trying to tell me how to be a father, this and that, like, are you really trying to tell me? He's like, yeah, I am trying to tell you because I know what it looks like to screw a kid up. And I just came back from a place where a bunch of kids are really dealing with like trauma from being screwed up as a kid, because he had went with Esty somewhere because Esty was adopted and she doesn't know who her real parents are and stuff. So she's going through that crisis. And then she had met some like-minded people who are in that same type of situation and stuff like that. And they feel screwed up about their lives pretty much, right? And so we saw that it even made Edwin look like, wow, it gave him some type of perspective, like, wow, like when you don't do your kids right, that sucker goes well into their adult lives. You know what I'm saying? And even though they could be adulting, they really might not be. Like they could have a big house, they could have a good career, this and that, but they could really be jacked up. The decisions that they make are jacked up. Even the way they parent is jacked up. Their relationships are jacked up. Like there's a lot of stuff that's still jacked up when you put a kid through trauma and they never get to heal from. So let's see if there's anything else. Um, that was episode number 6, right? So he's telling him, like I said, he was telling him, don't screw it up. Why don't you see how, if you can get in Finn's life, be a part of Finn's life. Don't do that to him. So Johnny was like, okay, you know what? I'm gonna come for Christmas. And he said, okay, go tell him that. So he went and told him that he's gonna come for Christmas, blah blah blah. So then we get to the next episode number 7. And so it says, while Edwin and the family deck the halls and jingle the bells, Paige must get to the bottom of why she doesn't like Christmas before she ends up ruining it for everyone. And in the process has a major revelation and healing. So in this episode, which was really crazy, guys, she finds out that the reason why she cannot stand Christmas is because her father was arrested on Christmas. She did not remember that, but for some reason she wound up remembering it during this episode. Her father and mother were busted while she was opening gifts, which is obviously very traumatic. She just says she doesn't know why she blocked that part out of her life. Okay. So then we also had, Esty, she's over and everything. This is the adopted sister of Paige, who is Korean. And the mother's over there too. Is another mother. She calls her best mom. I forgot what her name was, but Esty tells her that she doesn't want to hurt her or anything, but she wants to find out who her birth parents are. Okay, so the mother says, okay, no problem. Like, she's a very sweet lady who loves the Lord and everything, and she just doesn't get riled up. So she's like, okay, I think I have to go lay down. So she goes to lay down, y'all, and she never freaking wakes up. So another notch in this girl's trauma belt. It's like, oh my freaking gosh. So Paige's adopted mom, one of her moms that she had in her life, her best mom, she calls her, dies on Christmas Day in her bed. After she has come to this revelation of why she doesn't like Christmas, and also she comes to the revelation. But the good thing is that she decides, I'm gonna make the best of it. How about we start our Christmas over? This is the first Christmas, so they're happy and all this stuff. The lights go out for a little while, the power, but then it comes back on. Everybody's happy, everybody's together. They're um, making the beautiful gingerbread, and got the Christmas tree lights on, got the food going and all that. And this freaking woman dies on Christmas Day. I was like, oh my freaking gosh, of all the things, why in the world does this girl have to keep on having trauma after trauma? Okay, but she does. All right. So then we also have Finn, who was excited before the mother died. Finn was excited about his father coming. He told them that he was coming. He texted them that he was coming, this and that. But on this day, when Christmas came, he was not answering Finn's calls. I think he didn't hear from him, like nothing. So Edwin gets on the phone and he said, hey, nobody heard from you. Remember my conversation about you not screwing things up? You know what I mean? Left him a message with that. So later on, we find out that he's not coming. And so that hurt Finn right there. And it's like he has to recoup from that. So he kind of like, he kind of, he regressed pretty much. Like he was doing really, really well and stuff. And then all of a sudden, like that just kind of threw him back into his little like cave, going into the room and things like that. So it was pretty bad. All right. So the next episode is called The After Party. So after suffering a devastating family loss, the Alexanders make major breakthrough in becoming a family. Okay. Only to be confronted with a new revelation that may turn it all upside down. Okay. So here's what happens, y'all. Everything's going fine. Well, actually, everything's not going fine. My bad. The mother's dead. Um, and so they're having a little repast at the house. They have the funeral, having a repast at the house, and after some type of revelation, I guess with the death, and you just don't know when people are going to go and stuff. You need to tell people how you feel and all that. My girl decides that she wants to tell Mal how she feels. Okay. Now she has the microphone in her hand, and I'm talking about Paige. She has the microphone in her hands, and she had just finished like giving like a little speech about her mom and stuff like that. And so as she is, I'm just gonna pull up a random picture of them. As she is talking, no, as she's getting off, she's like, okay, everybody enjoy this and that, because Mal is trying to leave. So she talks to him and she said, listen, I really feel like you see me and this and that and blah, blah, blah. So she's really trying to pour her heart out to him. And he's like, no, I gotta go. So he left, and that was that. It didn't go well. But the embarrassing thing is that he freaking, I mean, not he, she had the mic. And I'm like, girl, do you not realize you have the microphone in your hands and everybody can hear you? So she was pretty humiliated in front of everyone. But Nadine was also there, and at the end, Nadine was like, listen, you could be, very, whatever she called, I don't remember exactly what she said. I think she said you're a difficult person or something like that. But she said Mal would be a fool not to want to be with you or whatever. So towards the end of the episode, we have Paige, who's doing her normal like Instagram post or whatever she does, because she's a therapist and she has a following and stuff like that. So she does like these daily posts or, whatever she does. And she's making the video. And while she's making the video, she said, I just really learned a lot this time, blah, blah, blah. And as, I also realized that you need to tell people that you love them, even the ones that don't feel it, they don't feel the same and everything, let them know, whatever. And as she's saying that, she's in her bathroom, by the way. So as she's saying that, you have Mal darkening her door, and he's like, Paige. And she's like, oh my gosh, what are you doing here? And all this. So then I was thinking it was the live thing, but it wasn't. It was a video. She does videos. She does go live sometimes. But anyway, this was a video. So, she was like, I'm sorry, I know that I was saying a lot to you before. It was probably just too much to swallow, or she said it was a hard sell, and then he was like sold, and she was like, what? So he said he had to go and break up with Ava first because it wouldn't have been fair because of his feelings that he has for her. I was like, ah! I mean, guys, if I was doing a reaction to this, you should have freaking saw me how excited I was. I don't know if I put both my knees on the bed or any that's a lie. If I put both my knees on the bed and just with excitement because my knees be hurting. Okay. So anyway, that was a lot. I was so excited. I loved the romance part of it because they were just kind of, friending it the whole time. And at some point too, she had to tell him like, I don't think I can be friends. I'm not ready for this. You know what I'm saying? But he let her know that it is. She said, I want to try again. And he said, it is pretty terrifying. You know what I'm saying? But, we could take it slow and everything. She said, I don't know how to do that, but I will try for you. I'm going to do this and do it for you, however, blah blah blah. So he sees the growth in her, and she also saw that he is just a really wonderful guy. Like, I don't know what the heck she was not seeing before, but she really sees that he's a great guy, and everybody else around them knows that he's her person. So I'm just hoping that they're not going to screw this up. Don't let them break up. She could still have problems and trauma with Mal being in her life. Okay, I don't have time for them to be trying to play around with stuff. I hate when they do things like this. Bring people together. You already broke them up. Don't break them up again. I don't want to freaking go through it. Okay, please leave them alone. We still got issues with your dad. He finally got his license, and then he got his food truck, which is great. We got some good things coming. You got Finn. He still got his issues. Look, everybody still has a nice amount of issues to go around. All right, leave this relationship alone. Let it flourish and let them get through, because I'm pretty sure there's going to be some humps that they're going to have to get over. Okay, so just leave it alone. Now, the last thing that happens in this series is, in season 2, is that as they're kissing, the father comes and he says, Paige, and he looks like somebody died again. And she was like, what? And he said, somebody's here. She said, who? He said, your mother. I was like, oh my freaking gosh. So I don't know how she feel about that, but like, she knows that her mother abandoned her. So I don't think that that's some news that she wants to hear right now, especially after she just got her man back. Okay. And she didn't even like the fact that her father interrupted it. Okay. Don't be interrupting while I'm kissing my man. All right. I'm just trying to make sure that there's nothing that I did not talk about on here. I did everything. Okay, great. All right. Oh, the Into Me You See, that episode, when she said intimacy is into me you see, I never heard of it that way. That's not the way you say it. It's into me you see. Not into me you see. In to me see. Sorry. I said it just like she did. It's into me see. So basically it sounds more like intimacy, not into me you see. There's no you in it. It's just into me see. That's what I heard when I went on a marriage thing before. Into me see. Okay. Anyway, just wanted to talk about that. But anyway, guys, that's all I had to say. I definitely loved this show. I mean, I had to come on here and talk about it, y'all. Y'all must be sleeping, which is okay. I know there are some people that are in the building, which is great. You're probably cooking, you're probably just listening, and that is totally fine. If you have seen this show, let me know what you guys thought about it. The mother is coming. I wonder who is going to play her mom. Yo, why can't she ever have a good mom? You know what? I can't say that. But when she was Olivia Pope, her mom was a hot mess. So now she gonna have another hot mess mom. I just cannot wait to see who they're gonna have playing her mother. This woman who abandoned her. I'm so interested to see who it's gonna be, guys. So anyway, y'all, that's all for today. Thank you so much for joining me. I will be taking this video down actually, guys, so that I could fix it up and then put it back on, because there was a nice delay in the with that interruption that happened. Okay. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for joining me. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already. Hit that notification bell so you know when I upload more videos like this one. Until next time, take care and be blessed, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.